in the current affairs class today. We will discuss all the major issues that have happened in the last 1 week, starting from 3rd of June till 10th of June. Okay. Now, understand very important topics like Kavach system, like sedition law. There was an important article in Hindu, an article on what you call one more, which we did the recording, which was in the news, a big article, big issue. Kavach system was in news. You are you are not following YouTube, See, important articles which need more deliberation, maybe half an hour per topic. All those articles we are doing recording and putting it on the YouTube. They are very important from the UPSC perspective. Please read through them also. Okay, they are important from the examination perspective. Lot of information is there, so you cannot afford to miss those articles, right? So understand, other than those important articles which have appeared in the various newspapers and news articles I have listed, we will be covering all these articles one by one in today's lecture. At the end of each article, we will try to solve one prelims question, just to basically see whether you are comprehending the content properly or not. Okay. The first article is about adverse possession. Anybody? Adverse possession, if I remember correctly, I have spoke about this in the internal security class, the doctrine of adverse possession. It comes in the doctrine of adverse possession when we talk about India-Bangladesh relations. When we talk about India-Bangladesh relations and also India-Pakistan relations, lot of adverse possession related articles come into news. What is this adverse possession? Anybody? It is a doctrine related to law. It is a doctrine which is related to law. Anybody? What is adverse possession? Adverse possession. Anyone? Heard about this word? You should be telling, I have taught you this. I have taught you this in Bangalore. Adverse possession. See, generally, how do you claim your right over a particular good? If I am having a mobile, how do I claim my ownership over this mobile? Just because I am using it, it is mine, or because I have purchased it, the bill is on my name, it is mine. Yes or no? It means I have title to these goods. Title is ownership papers. Title means ownership papers. Whenever I am claiming something as mine based on title, it is the ownership is based on title. But if I am claiming something purely based on I am possessing it for the last so many years, it is mine. It means I do not have the title to goods, I do not have the ownership rights, but I have the possession rights for so many years. If you are claiming ownership of any property as yours, not as a result of title to goods, but as a result of continuous possession for over a period of time, it is called doctrine of adverse possession. This doctrine is generally applicable to land. Generally, you see, that's why what generally the poor people do, they occupy a government land and they start staying on that government land. 10 years pass, 15 years pass, 20 years pass, gradually they will take electric connection, gradually they will enter that location in their Aadhaar card as their address. So what happens when the government tries to evict them from that land which is a government land, they claim that, hello, I am staying in this land for the last 2 generations, 60 years, you cannot evict me, I will invoke the doctrine of adverse possession. Now the biggest question mark is that person who is staying on the land should prove that he is in the continued possession of that particular land. It means there is perpetuity in the possession of land. Very recently, the Law Commission gave a justification. Some people said, has the time come to change this rule? Now, can anybody think why this adverse possession was given as a right? Why it could have been given as a right? Anyone? The Limitation Act, that point of time when the Britishers were there immediately after the independence, the Limitation Act was amended. That amended act also gave the right of adverse possession. Now my question is, what would have been in the mind process, the thought process of the administrators that they allowed continuation of this adverse possession? If I give you another hint, agricultural land. What could have been the purpose? They wanted maximum land to come under cultivation. That is the logic. So, immediately after independence, because lot of land was outside the purview of cultivation and the government wanted maximum land to come under cultivation, so it allowed to continue the doctrine of adverse possession. Okay? So, we will read about all these articles one by one. The doctrine of adverse possession, as the slide says, as per the recent report by the 22nd Law Commission, there is no justification for introducing any change in the law related to adverse possession. So, the Law Commission says there is no requirement to change anything related to Law Commission or anything related to adverse possession, what is there in the law. Now, the first concept, adverse possession, I have already explained. Adverse possession essentially means when a tenant possesses the property of the owner when they are not legally entitled to do the same. It means that here tenant and ownership is not that rental tenant and ownership. No, I am the landowner, I am the owner of the land, and Pawan is occupying this land for the past 12 years. Now, I cannot claim what you call the land back from Pawan if he is in continuous possession for the last 12 years. Pawan has to only prove that in the last 12 years, this owner never came to me, never claimed any right, no police complaints filed, nothing. I have proof to show last 12 years I am paying the property tax of this particular document, I am paying the electricity bill for this particular piece of land. He has to prove possession, 12 years continuous possession without break. And what, see, that is what it says. In such a situation, if they continue to hold the property unlawfully for more than 12 years and the owner, despite having the knowledge the same, does not take any action, or over these years they would lose their right to claim the property by filing a suit in the court of law. If I have kept silent for the last 12 years, knowingly or unknowingly, I did not check back whether somebody has occupied my land. If in that duration somebody had occupied continuous possession, staying there, doing certain activities there, by nature, by the law of the limitations, that land will belong to Pawan now. Now I cannot claim that land after 12 years. Okay? Now, as a result, the person in the possession of the property will acquire a very important word, perspective title over the land. Perspective title. There are two titles. One is real title to goods, there is perspective title to goods. So, whenever somebody getting a title to the goods based on adverse possession, the title is called perspective title, right. The concept of adverse possession stems from the idea that land must not be left vacant, but instead put to judicious use. This was the logic of introducing the adverse possession. It means, as per the doctrine of adverse possession, I can claim ownership on a piece of land not based on my real ownership through title of goods, but only through the doctrine of possession. Only through possession I can claim right over these goods. See, there was one more reason why this adverse possession was invoked. When many people migrated from Pakistan to India, India to Pakistan, immediately after during the what you call partition time, most of the people in the west and the northwest left their agricultural land just like that. So, to ensure that somebody occupies that land and start cultivation, the doctrine of adverse possession was invoked. The doctrine of adverse possession was invoked. Okay? Now, what it says, the Limitation Act 1963, the section 27 of the Limitation Act 1963 reaffirms the limitation period to file a suit on part of the property owner to be 12 years. The Limitation Act 1963 fixes a time period of 12 years on the owner. If he does not file a case within 12 years, after that he cannot do anything. After the other party has possessed the property for more than 12 years continuously, no action shall be lie against them. You cannot go to the court of law. Article 64 and Article 65 of the Limitation Act 1963 lay down the onus on the tenant to prove the dispossession of the property for the period of 12 years. Now, it says basically the sentence is saying is that you have to prove that you were not dispossessed from the property in the last 12 years. It means you have to prove that you are in continuous ownership of the property by the virtue of possession for the last 12 years continuously. At the same time, the burden to prove the period of adverse possession within 12 years fall on the landlord. So, if it is within 12 years, the owner has to prove that it's been only 8 years or 9 years that this fellow has been here. Before this he was here, or before this I was here myself. So, he has to prove something, but that period is within, it should be within 12 years only. Okay? Now, for adverse possession of any kind of government property, the period to claim the ownership for the government or any public organization has been fixed at very important 30 years. For private property, the limitation is 12 years, and for the public property or the government property, the time limitation period is 30 years. Okay? Understand this 30 years. Now, based on whatever we have learnt, let us try to solve this question. Let me see who can answer. The question says, consider the following statements regarding adverse possession. The Limitation Act prescribes 12 years as limitation period for any property under the dispute. Is it right? No, because the word any property, private property 12 years, government property 30 years. So, it is a wrong statement. Second, the burden of proof to prove the dispossession of the property of the period of 12 years lies on the tenant. Yes or no? Yes. It is a true statement. It is a true statement. The Law Commission in its recent report is suggesting to amend the law related to adverse possessions due to increased litigations. Is it true? No, because the Law Commission is saying there is no need to change any rule related to the doctrine of adverse possession. Adverse, now which is the right statement? Anybody? Which is the correct statement? Only one, which is statement 2. So, the answer is A. So simple, no? But who complicates? Huh? Pawan senior complicates. Huh? So, do not complicate. Okay? Chalo, next topic. What is the next topic? Yeah, antibiotics to kill a superbug. What is a superbug, Pujita? What is a superbug? Doctor Saab, certificate jama karo. What is a superbug? A bacteria that is resistant to antibiotics is called a superbug. Any bacteria that is resistant to antibiotics. Anybody, which is the bacteria which is considered to be most resistant to any antibiotic? The strongest antibiotic dose also does not work on that bacteria. So, good. Now, in a major breakthrough for the use of artificial intelligence in the field of medicine, scientists have found a new antibiotic powerful enough to kill even a superbug. So, it is a strong antibiotic which the scientists have been able to make with the help of artificial intelligence. Now, any question in mains where artificial intelligence application in finding solutions to medical problems, this should be one of your points. Okay? Now, what are superbugs? Superbugs are bacteria that are resistant to several types of antibiotics. They can be fungi as well, very important. A superbug need not necessarily be a bacteria alone, it can be a fungi also. So, this is a very important message in the what you call article. Then it says this happens when bacteria change over time and become resistant to drugs that are supposed to defeat them and cure the infection they cause. So, this was the problem with COVID also. You remember COVID में भी यही problem था because of the mutation in the Now, can antibiotics treat virus? Antibiotics cannot treat viral infection. Remember this. Antibiotics are only meant for bacteria and fungi, or bacteria and fungi only. Okay? Now, antibiotics are medications that destroy or slow down the growth of bacteria. Doctors prescribe them to treat bacterial infections. They do this by killing bacteria and preventing them from multiplying. And we know this, school mein pada, Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin, the first natural antibiotic, in the year 1928. Year is important, 1928. And antibiotics cannot fight viral infections. Now the homework to you is, box banao, why antibiotics cannot fight a viral infection. When they are able to fight bacterial and fungal infections, what is stopping the antibiotics from fighting viral infection is your homework. Okay? Now, this antibiotic resistance is generally important for UPSC. What is antibiotic resistance? It is a situation, it occurs when bacteria change in response to the use of antibiotics. The moment somebody is infected with a bacterial infection, the moment you give antibiotics to him, the bacteria will try to change its form. So that is the reason why this ultimately threatens the ability of medicines to treat common infectious diseases. See, understand, generally what happens is, the doctors also immediately will not give you antibiotics. Generally it is said you should not be used to antibiotics for treating common flus and all, because we generally tell let the body respond naturally, and the doctors are very particular when they give antibiotics for any kind of treatment. Why? Because repeated usage of a particular antibiotic in the body may create resistance to that antibiotic. Now what happens, say for example, if you were being given a particular antibiotic for a particular disease, over a period of time the reoccurrence of disease, you will see that antibiotic what the doctor is prescribing is not working on you. So over a period of time what has happened, your body has developed resistance, the bacteria has developed the resistance. It is not the human who has developed the resistance, it is the bacteria that has developed resistance towards that antibiotic. So that is the reason why the antibiotics is not able to cure that particular bacterial or fungal infection. Okay? Bacteria, not humans or animals, become antibiotic resistant. That is what I said. It is the bacteria that becomes the antibiotic resistance and not the humans who become the antibiotic resistance. These bacteria may infect humans and animals, and the infections they cause are harder to treat than those caused by the non-resistant bacteria. And antibiotic resistance occurs naturally, but misuse of antibiotics in humans and animals is what we call accelerating the problem. Now, very important statement is, it occurs naturally also. The antibiotic resistance occurs naturally also. But what is fastening the process? The misuse of antibiotics in the humans and animals is fastening the process of antibiotic resistance in the humans and animals. ठीक है? Now, कौन बताएगा आंसर? Consider the following statements regarding antibiotic resistance. Superbugs are bacteria only that are resistant to several types of antibiotics. Is a true statement or a false statement? Is it a false statement? Because we also have fungi also, can be a superbug. Now, second, antibiotics can even fight viral infections. True or false? So, two false statements. Antibiotics resistance occurs naturally as well. It's a true statement. And Acinetobacter, very important, Acinetobacter baumannii is the world's most dangerous antibiotic resistant bacteria. This is a true statement. Please make a note of this bacteria. Acinetobacter baumannii is a world's most dangerous antibiotic resistant bacteria. So this is a true statement. If that is the case, what is the answer? What is the answer? The answer should be B. Two pairs are correct. Be very particular whether they are asking correct or incorrect. If it is incorrect, even in that case B will be the answer, because there are two statements which are incorrect. Okay? So very important, antibiotics can even fight viral infections. Is it a true statement? No, it is a false statement. It is a false statement. I gave you homework to find out what stops from treating them. Okay? Now, another important article related to evapotranspiration. This was in news. Evapotranspiration. What is this? In this forest, what is this evapotranspiration? Anybody? Where evaporation is also happening on one side, transpiration is also happening on one side. Evaporation happens from water surface, transpiration happens from plant surface, from the leaves of the plant, the stems of the plant. What happens? The water content from the leaves is absorbed primarily because of the solar radiation, because of atmospheric conditions, because of wind also. These are the factors that fasten the precipitation process, to fasten the transpiration process, not precipitation. Precipitation is rainfall. Precipitation is rainfall. It fastens the transpiration process. So it means if the water is converted into vapor from a land surface, it is called evaporation. If the water content from the plant leaves and all is converted into vapor, it is called transpiration. So both combined is called evapotranspiration. Now tell, evapotranspiration is good or bad? There is something known as water cycle, no? There is something known as water cycle. Somehow science and geography topics have come. There is something known as water cycle. What is this water cycle? Somebody comes on cycle fetching water for you. Bolo, what is water cycle? थोड़ा मेरे को समझ में आए जैसा बोलो. Conversion of water from water vapor to water. What is missing? What is water cycle? अरे prelims लिख के आए हो, बोलो. This circular movement of water from atmosphere to, आई बात समझ में? तो किताब पढ़ना जरूरी है. एनसीईआरटी रोज ऐसा उठ के ऐसा माथे पे 2 बार लगा लेना, जैसे गर्लफ्रेंड की फोटो लगाते हो ना, वैसे ही. ठीक है, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. नाउ टेल मी, evapotranspiration is a good phenomenon or a bad phenomenon? Good means why? He says it is a neutral phenomenon. If it is a neutral phenomenon, let us counter him. If it is a neutral phenomenon, why people are observing this? Something neutral. Do you make keen observation of anything which is neutral? See, understand, if the water is leaving the plants, the water is leaving the surface in the form of a transpiration and what you call vaporization. What is happening? The water content on the, but it will come back in the form of precipitation, no? This is the beauty, because what affect your precipitation, rainfall? The wind patterns. It may so happen that the water content is removed from one part of the land surface or the plant surface and transferred or traveling to other parts of the surface. So over a period of time, what may happen is a water abundant area may convert into a water scarce area. We talk about, yesteryear Saraswati river flowed in Rajasthan. What happened to that river today? That river is missing, no? That river is completely missing. So the place where river was there converted into a desert today. So what would have happened over a period of time? In the process of geological evolution, probably the evapotranspiration would have happened at a large scale for a continuous period of time. Okay? So understand, why evapotranspiration is studied is because of possibility of it having a negative effect on that particular region. Okay? Now, what is evapotranspiration? The combination of two separate processes where water is lost in one of the land from the soil surface by evaporation, and on the other hand from the crop by transpiration is referred to as Evapotranspiration. Evapotranspiration is one kind of movement that is part of a larger planet-wide rhythm called the water cycle, that we have spoken about the water cycle. The evapotranspiration, both actual and potential, was defined by, please make a note of this fellow, in 1944. The name is Thornwhite, Thornthwaite, Thornwhite, Thwaite. In 1944, evapotranspiration was, the concept of evapotranspiration was developed by this fellow in 1944. He is talking about something actual and potential. What is the difference? Actual and potential. Actual evapotranspiration, potential evapotranspiration. What could be the difference? This is what we have seen. Actual means, he says potential is estimation. The potential evapotranspiration is a representation of the water loss from a larger area that is uniformly covered with a short green crop of uniform height and with adequate water status in the soil profile. What does it mean? It is a representation of the water loss. It means, for example, if in a given particular area you have a water body of a particular size, you have a tree cover of a particular size, based on the solar radiation, based on the temperature, based on the wind condition, they will create a picture what could be the potential evapotranspiration of this particular area. This is representation, how much could be exhausted. Now the actual is how much it is actually exhausting. Now tell me, in a condition where actual is less than the potential, good or bad? You understood my question? In a geographical area, the scientists study what is the size of the water body, what is the what you call tree cover in that area, what is the solar insolation or radiation, what is the heat, what is the flow of wind. Based on these dimensions and some more dimension, they bring out a figure. This is the potential evapotranspiration possible in this particular area. Now my question is, if the potential is more than what is happening actual on ground, is it good or bad? It is good. Okay? Understand. See, too much of evapotranspiration is not good. Though vapors are important in the water cycle for the rainfall to happen, because if the wind patterns shift the precipitation from one particular area to other particular area, the ecosystem of this entire area will get disturbed. So that is the reason why potential evapotranspiration is kind of a limit that they try to understand. Is kind of a limit that they try to understand. Okay? Now solve this question. Consider the following statements regarding the evapotranspiration. It says evapotranspiration is one kind of movement that is part of a larger planet water cycle. Yes or no? So we have studied about this. It is a yes. Evapotranspiration has potential uses. Yes, precipitation, it has potential use. So it is also a right statement. Third, there are factors that affect the rate of evapotranspiration in the plants, which includes the amount of solar radiation, temperature, soil factors, wind and atmospheric vapor pressures. So this is also a true statement. Now how many are correct? So what is the answer? The answer is 3 pairs are correct. Okay? So understanding the concept, connecting it to a question framework is also important. Okay? Chalo, next topic, fourth topic. Kya hai? Carbon sequestration. What is this carbon sequestration? Is about capturing and storing carbon. Now, who all can tell me where all carbon is stored? Oceans, carbon is stored. Soil, forest, okay. Peatlands, okay. Soil, under soil, Huh? Okay. But I am looking for a bigger contributor to carbon sequestration. Glaciers. नीचे क्या है? Glaciers are also they also play a role in carbon sequestration. Are you with me or not? So glaciers के नीचे भी, if the ice melts, what will happen? The top surface of the soil will get exposed. So if something has not been exposed for centuries, suddenly if it gets exposed, it will release lot of poisonous gases also to the atmosphere. So that is the reason why the problem with the melting of glaciers is not only associated with increased temperature or increasing the sea level rise, it has also got connotations related to the carbon sink that has been trapped for centuries. Maybe it would have got converted into methane. Hello. So understand, if that is released in the atmosphere over a period of time, it may be poisonous to the entire ecosystem. It may be poisonous to the entire ecosystem. Okay? Now very important from the current affairs, India's first carbon neutral village is being developed in Bhiwandi Taluka of Thane, which is in Maharashtra. So this is one first carbon neutral village which the government is developing in the Bhiwandi Taluka of Thane district in Maharashtra. Okay. And what is this carbon neutral? Carbon neutrality is nothing but a balance between the amount of carbon that is emitted and the amount of carbon that is absorbed from the what you call atmosphere in a carbon sink. So it is carbon neutral. See, nowadays as per the you have to link with environment and ecology. Now the new building code, the buildings are getting green certificates, no? It means a premises, if it is giving back electricity more than what it is consuming. Say for example, there is a premises secretariat, newly constructed secretariat. On top of the secretariat, for example, assumption, they have installed 10,000 solar panels. Now in a given particular day, the what you call the secretariat is consuming 100 units of power, and the 10,000 solar panels that have been what you call installed on top of the secretariat, they are producing 120 units of power. It means per day the secretariat building through net metering is transferring 20 meters to the grid rather than what you call seeking power from the grid. So if it is able to do that 100, it is carbon neutral. If it is able to do 100, it means absorbing 100 and giving back 100 units, it is carbon neutral. For example, assumption on Saturdays and Sundays the building is empty, generally holiday. Now definitely the consumption of electricity will be much more less on Saturday. It may be consuming only 10 or 20 units, but again the capacity to produce 100 units is there or 120 units is there. So whatever 10-20 units it has produced, it has consumed, it will consume, remaining 100 units will be transferred back to the grid. So it is called, this particular building can be given the award of a green building. There are certain other criteria also where the building is basically using more natural light than artificial light. So the planning of the construction of the building also has to be designed in such a way that they use maximum natural light for what you call lightening the office and not dependent on the artificial lighting. There are many other, the treating of sewage is also an important dimension when a green certificate is given. So there are so many other dimensions also. Now coming back to carbon neutrality, carbon sequestration, removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. How much time does it take for the carbon dioxide to be removed from the atmosphere once it is released? It takes thousands of years for once carbon dioxide is released in the atmosphere to be completely destroyed. The animals, the humans, the plants, the so called cultivation, what we do, especially the rice paddy cultivation, where the water is stagnant in the field, are biggest sources of your carbon dioxide generation. So the amount of time that it will take to remove the carbon dioxide that has been, that's the reason why you remember in environment ecology we talk about that the western countries are responsible for the persistent because of the industrial revolution that happened, that was primarily steam based, because steam based engines produce the maximum, yes or no. The air conditioners that we are using, it is also releasing lot of, yes or no, okay. So understand, the carbon sequestration is basically removing that carbon dioxide from the what you call atmosphere. Removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and then storing it is known as carbon sequestration. And where all we can store carbon dioxide? How do you store carbon dioxide? In mines. Good, good. We also talk about carbon trading, no, nowadays. We also talk about carbon trading. Question आया था carbon trading, carbon transfer. Question आया था prelims में इस साल, ठीक है. So they will link any topic related to carbon sequestration, carbon sink, and ask a question. Carbon sink is any system that absorbs more carbon than it emits. The main natural carbon sinks are the soil, the forests, and the oceans that we have discussed. Okay? Now, to date, no artificial carbon sinks are able to remove carbon from the atmosphere on the scale to fight global warming. It means we have failed to create artificial carbon sinks. That is the reason why we insist on increasing the forest cover, which are natural carbon sinks. Okay? Now, carbon offsetting, another way to pursue carbon neutrality is to offset the emissions made in one sector by reducing them from somewhere else. So, if a particular sector is emitting more carbon and your dependency on that sector is so high that you cannot stop from happening, at least from other sectors you should try to emit what you call reduce the carbon from the atmosphere. If you are able to do that, then you are successful in doing carbon offsetting. Your carbon transfer is also an example of carbon offsetting. Your carbon trading is also an example of carbon offsetting. ठीक है? हाँ, कौन आंसर बताएगा? Be ready with your answer. First statement right or wrong? Wrong. Carbon sink. हाँ, good. Carbon sink. Okay. Second statement. First statement is wrong. Second, removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and then storing it is known as carbon. It is a true statement. Okay. Third, carbon neutrality means having a balance between emitting carbon and absorbing carbon from the atmosphere in carbon sinks. It is a true statement. Okay, good, true statement. India's first carbon, this we all know. Now the correct answer is the C, that is 3 pairs. Okay, chalo, good. NIRF was in news, very important from your mains perspective, especially this year, and definitely from your next year what you call prelims perspective also. Okay. Now, what is this NIRF? National Institute for National Institutional Ranking Framework. National Institutional Ranking Framework. It is basically a yardstick to measure how educational institutions from various dimensions are performing in the society. Okay. Now, the National Institutional Ranking Framework announced the India's ranking 2023 of higher education institutions. Please underline the word higher education institutions, very, very important. And what it says, for the 2023 ranking, around 5,543 unique institutions applied for the ranking. It means institutions apply for the ranking. This dimension also you need to understand, because the NIRF ranking, say for example for the colleges, the Miranda House came first. This time in the group of colleges, Miranda House in Delhi came first, then followed by Presidency College came second, and one more college came third. Now, no, Hindu college came second, Presidency college came third. See, understand, in the competitive world, getting NIRF first rank is a very big thing, in the competitive world in the college processes. So, if Miranda House has got the best, what you call award for the best college in the domain of some graduation level colleges, it means that the faculty, the curriculum, the atmosphere, the research, the facilities are the best in that particular college. So, understand the importance of that dimension. Okay? Now, what is this? This framework outlines a methodology to rank institutions across the country. This is the 8th consecutive edition of this. So, this you need to understand, higher education institutions in India. So, this is not the first, this is the 8th consecutive. It means it started somewhere in the year 2015, right. What it says, there are certain unique things about the 2023. The first unique thing is agriculture and allied sectors. For the first time it has been introduced as a separate criteria. Second, integration of the innovation ranking previously executed by the Atal ranking of institution on innovation achievements. So, it has been subsumed into the NIRF ranking, the Atal ranking of institutions on innovation. So, innovation as a dimension has been added. One of the IIT colleges got the award, we will talk about it. Then the expansion of the scope of architecture to architecture and planning was included. Basically, they wanted to bring in the element of urban and town planning within the domain of architecture. So, 3 important additions in agriculture and allied sectors are added. Then in the second, basically innovation, the dimension has been subsumed from the Atal innovation ranking of educational institutions, and thirdly they have expanded the scope of architecture to include architecture and planning. So, these are the 3 additions that they have done for the first time in 2023. Then what it says, these are the parameters, please make a note of the parameters as it is, all the 5 parameters: teaching, learning and resources, research and professional practice, graduation outcome, basically the placement, the knowledge level of the students, outreach and inclusivity and perception, outreach and inclusivity and the perception, very very important. Perception ke liye Miranda House is known. See, if you meet a student from couple of colleges, in 5 minutes of interaction you will come to know that they are from that college. JNU is one dimension, the second dimension is Miranda House, the third is Hindu college, the fourth is Presidency college, the fifth is SRCC, Sri Ram College of Commerce. Okay? So, if you meet students of these colleges, within 5 minutes you can make out उनका बोलने का तरीका, उनका ड्रेसअप करने का तरीका, उनका सोचने का तरीका, the way they think is completely different than many of the people from their peer group. Okay? So, that is how that thing. Chalo, now what are the key highlights? Very very important. We all know, we read this in news, IIT Madras got the first position overall category for the 5th consecutive year, very big achievement. IIT Madras for the 5th consecutive year got the first position 2019 to 23, and in engineering for an 8th consecutive year, that is from 2016 to 2023, and the Indian Institute of Science Bangalore tops the universities category for the 8th consecutive year from 2016 to 2023. In the university category, the IISC, Indian Institute of Science Bangalore, a reputed institution known for its research and professional practice. That is the reason why IISc Bangalore is always on the radars of the terrorists, always on the radars of the terrorists, because they want to know where the research is happening in this particular institution. Okay? Then it stood first in the research institutions category for the 3rd consecutive year, that is from 21 to 23, and IIM Ahmedabad tops in the management subjects. So in the management side, IIM Ahmedabad came the first, and All India Institute of Medical Science, that is your AIIMS Delhi, occupies the top slot in medical for the 6th consecutive year. Moreover, AIIMS also ranked at the 6th position in the overall category. In the overall category, where this fellow is on the first, AIIMS came the 6th. So the position of AIIMS got improved. I am again repeating, the position of AIIMS got improved. Okay? Now, National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, Hyderabad, our own country cousin, tops the ranking in pharmacy for the first time, pushing Jamia Hamdard to the 2nd slot. Please read about this institution, Jamia Hamdard. Jamia Hamdard got pushed to the 2nd position, where the National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, Hyderabad, got the 1st position. Then Miranda House, as I told you, in the college category, it got in the colleges category, it got the 1st position. IIT Roorkee stands at the 1st position in architecture. You remember architecture and town planning and planning? IIT Roorkee got the 1st position there. Then National Law School of India, University, Bangalore, one of the most prestigious law schools in our country, National Law School, Bangalore, retains its 1st position in the law for the 6th consecutive year. If somebody says that I am an NLU graduate from law, people will take 2 steps back. So, itna acha college in the field of law माना जाता है, ठीक है? And all the big judicial officers, they have all graduated from NLU only, ठीक है? Indian Agricultural Research Institute, New Delhi, takes the top spot in agriculture and allied sectors, which has been introduced for the first time. Indian Agricultural Research Institute, and the IIT Kanpur got the 1st position for innovation, which was also in what you call taken as a category for the first time. So IIT Roorkee for architecture, what you call Indian Agricultural Research Institute Delhi for agriculture and allied sectors, and IIT Kanpur for the innovation category. Okay? Now give me the answer. 4 are correct. The first statement is correct. Okay, the second statement wrong, because it is the 8th. Architecture has been expanded to include architecture and planning. Yes. NIRF is released by the wrong. Who releases? Overall position has, yes, ISC Bangalore and IIT Delhi are ranked 2nd and 3rd respectively overall. ये नहीं पढ़ा है सर, कैसे पूछ सकते हो? इसका मतलब हम नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं, हाँ? बोलो. The right statement. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the answer? 5. अच्छा वो भी तो है. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. The answer is 5 pairs. ठीक है? IISc Bangalore and IIT Delhi are ranked 2nd and 3rd. ठीक है? Very important. 6th was AIIMS Delhi. Remember, position was improved from 9th position to 6th position. ठीक है? Now, what is this pulses production in India? Why pulses production is important? Because we are importing lot of pulses. India incidentally happens to be the largest producer of pulses and also the largest consumer of pulses. Producer, consumer and importer also. Producing also. The world's approximately 24 to 25% of the pulses are produced in India, but still it is not sufficient. So that is the reason why we are importing also, and not only that, we are also consuming the maximum. We are also consuming the maximum. ठीक है? Which is the pulse that is grown the most? There are 2 agricultural commodities in which India is significantly import dependent. We know edible oil, we also know pulses. Both these we are highly dependent on our imports. ठीक है? Now India's import of pulses dropped by 60%. What does it mean? It means that my domestic production has increased. My domestic production has increased. Between 17-18 to 2023, as their production increased 9%. The Union government has prepared a plan to focus on increasing the production of pulses to make the country self-sufficient over the next 3 years. Now, what is the larger aim? What is the larger picture? What is the larger aim? To reduce imports. Why to reduce imports? To save foreign earnings. This is the major larger picture, and also to reduce dependence on imports to become self-sufficient in agricultural production. Hello, this is also an important what you call reason why we try to do. See, understand, maybe a pulse is available at a lower cost if it is imported. Try to understand this. See, it is less costly to import coal from Australia to India than shifting coal from within India to one point to other point. But still we try to ensure that our import dependency is reduced, because we want to be a self-sufficient economy. We do not want to become a dependent economy where the economy is dependent on the external sources for funding the raw materials or sourcing the raw materials. This dimension you need to understand. Okay? The union, then import of vegetable oil, what it says, out of the 24 to 25 million tons cooking oil that the country consumes, this is the amount of oil we are drinking every year. 24 to 25 million tons of oil that we are consuming, only 9 to 10 metric tons is from domestically produced grain. The balance is imported. So, this is also a disturbing figure when it comes to India. What it says, India is the largest producer, please underline and write, 25% of the global production. But the problem is, again consumption may be top hai, 27% of the world consumption. That is the reason why pulses, okay, and importer 14% of the world imports of the pulses is done by India only. Okay. The pulses account for around 20% of the area under food grains and contribute around 7 to 10% of the total food grains production in the country. So, whatever is the area under cultivation for food grains, 20% cultivation is of pulses only. Now, though pulses are grown in both Kharif and Rabi seasons, Rabi pulses contribute more than 60% of the total production. Please underline and put a star mark. Though pulses are grown in both Kharif and Rabi season, the Rabi pulses contribute to more than 60% of the total production of pulses in our country. So, easier to remember, Rabi pulses RP. Okay? Try to understand, remember like this. Major pulses that are grown are chickpea, pigeon pea, moong beans, udad, that is black mat pea, masoor, that is lentil, peas and various kinds of beans. These are, but make a note of these two, chickpea and pigeon pea. What? Tur dal and good. Gram is the most dominant pulse, having a share of around 40% in the total production, followed by tuar or arhar at 15 to 20%. That is how two most important. Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, UP and Karnataka are the top 5 pulses producing states. Please make a note. MP, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, UP and Karnataka. Please make a note in the ascending order, sorry, in the descending order. These are the 5 states which are the largest pulses producing states in our country. The United Nations declared 2016 as a International Year of Pulses. This present year is the International Year of Millets. Okay? To heighten public awareness of the nutritional benefits of pulses as part of sustainable food production aimed at food security and nutrition. So, very important, pulses are not only playing an important part in fruit production but also in nutrition. This is an important dimension. Okay, that you need to remember. Chalo. Now, what it says, climatic conditions, very important. It says pulses crops are cultivated in Kharif, Rabi and Zaid seasons of the agriculture year. It means the pulse as a crop or a food grain can be produced in Kharif, Rabi and Zaid, the third season. However, as we know, this is the season that gives the maximum contribution to the pulses production in our country, right. The Rabi crop requires, this is very important, it requires mild cold climate during the sowing period, during vegetative to pod development, cold climate, and during maturity, harvesting, warm climate. It means mild cold, cold, warm climate. So, three dimensional changes. But when it comes to Kharif, crops require a warm climate throughout their life from sowing to harvesting. So, summer pulses are habitants of warm climates. Please make a note of this. In Rabi, mild cold, cold and warm. But in Kharif, starting till sowing to harvesting, they need a warm climate throughout their life cycle. In Kharif, these are grown. In Rabi, these are grown. Summer, green gram, black gram and cowpea. Please make a note. Please make a note, important from the exam perspective, in the pulses. Do we have MSP for the pulses? How many crops MSP? 23. ठीक है, एंड उसमें पल्सेस है, होगा सर, किसको पता? हाँ, प्लीज मेक ए बॉक्स, pulses in the MSP, question mark. It was a news. It means you are not interacting with Hindu paper. Huh? Start interacting. This is the story of your Atmanirbhar pulses. Very important. Very important. Please make a note. Maximum drop in the import has been witnessed in yellow white peas and chicken peas. ये दो note करो बस. Leave the entire statement. Just make a note. The maximum drop, dramatic drops in the imports has been seen in the yellow white pea and the chickpea. It means we have increased the domestic production of this particular crop. Okay, yellow white pea and the chickpea import dependency has been drastically removed. Give me the answer. Consider the following statements regarding pulses and its production in India. India's dependence on imports of pulses has decreased dramatically. Huh? Dramatically. Huh? Bolo. It is a, because you are still 27% consumer, 14% importer, you are still a 14% importer. So, understand this, it has not reduced. See, how many countries in the world? 193, 192. Out of that, only one country is importing. So, it means still your import dependency is there. It would have reduced, but it has not decreased dramatically. Okay. Had this word dramatically not been there? Yes, the statement is a true statement. India is one of the world's largest pulses producer in the world. True? It is a true statement. Good. What is the share? 25% of the pulses in the world are grown by India. Just imagine, साला कितना खा रहे हैं? 25, 14, 39. Why so much consumption is happening? Pulses. Are only humans eating? As an animal feed, you are not understanding that importance. Believe me, humans are not eating much pulses. It is the animal feed primarily that we call for pulses. It means we have a large share in the animal. ठीक है, understand that. ठीक है. Pulses are grown in all the seasons. Yes, true. Okay. Kharif pulse crop need warm climate throughout their life. It is a true statement. And major pulse grown in India is chickpea and pigeon pea. It is a true statement. So how many statements are true? 1, 2, 3, 4. So which is the correct answer? Got it? अभी शुक्र है स्टेटमेंट बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस नहीं डाला. हाँ, अंतर्दृष्टि. व्हाट इज दिस अंतर्दृष्टि? हाँ, कौन बताएगा अंतर्दृष्टि क्या है? सनसेट, कंसाइंस. हाँ, RBI came up with a new program, no, dashboard, अंतर्दृष्टि, related to, it wants to map the areas and see what is the financial inclusion status of that particular area. Now the bigger question is, what is financial inclusion? Huh?
Availability of basic financial services to majority of the population.
Now somebody is using some English. He is saying extension of financial services to population. Okay. Now my question is, what is this financial service? Define. What all it includes? It includes banking. So opening a banking account. Okay. What else? It includes insurance. It includes credit. Okay, credit, micro credit. बस. बोलो. What? Oh, ठीक है. Banking with some basic facility cards. Okay. What else? Okay, direct benefit transfers. Okay, part of financial inclusion. Digitization is also part of financial inclusion. Bigger points. Bigger points. Financial inclusion. हाँ, क्या बेटा? बोल बिंदास बोल, कुछ भी नहीं होगा. हाँ, one important word you are missing in the financial inclusion. Hello, for your information, this is also included as part of, and also financial education. ऐसा पॉइंट देगा एक बिट में, छोड़ के आ जाओगे. पेंशन इज ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन. दिस इज ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन. Insurance is covering the health dimension. Okay, so that is how it is also part of financial inclusion. In June 2023, the RBI governor launched a financial inclusion dashboard called Antardrishti. It will provide the required insight to assess and monitor, very important words, monitor the progress of financial inclusion by capturing relevant parameters. What it does? The dashboard, presently intended for internal use in the RBI, will further facilitate greater financial inclusion through a multi-stakeholder approach. Now, which is basically internal use of the RBI for their own functioning to see how financial inclusion as a matrix is happening or not. Now, for example, definitely there will be a difference in the financial inclusion between UP, between AP, between Telangana and between Karnataka, right? So now this dashboard will try to make assessment where a particular financial instrument presence is missing. If it feels in UP insurance is not getting covered adequately, So concerted efforts can be made in a direction that more insurance related financial inclusion happens in the state of UP. That is the idea related to Antardrishti. Okay? Now, see, read through it. Basically, unserved cash economy has no basic bank account, has no or restricted access to the financial services. So once the banks come, once the microfinance institutions come, once the mobile network operators come, this unserved economy will get converted into a served economy. This unserved will become a served economy. What we are serving with respect to a particular tool, okay, financial tool, where these kind of facilities related to remittance, insurance, payments, credit, savings, all these facilities are given. If an individual, see, what are the various other schemes of the government related to financial inclusion? There are a hell lot of them, no? Jan Dhan Yojana is all about this. Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. What else? There is something known as Financial Inclusion Index also. What are the 3 parameters? What is the weightage? 3 parameters and their weightage. तुम लोग मजाक बना रहे हो UPSC का, इसलिए हर साल UPSC तुम्हारा बना रहे. Financial Inclusion Index. The parameters and their weightage. There are 3 parameters and their weightage. Please make a note. 3 parameters and their weightage. Financial Inclusion Index released by RBI. Very important. This particular index is released by Reserve Bank of India, and what is the weightage also you read. Okay? Important. See, these all come under financial inclusion. Micro insurance, micro pension, financial literacy, remittance or money transfer facilities, very, very important. Underline the word remittance. Remittance also comes under financial inclusion. If it is in the options, yes, it is part of financial inclusion. Remittance note karo, likho. Remittance is part of financial inclusion. Simple credit products and overdraft facilities, saving products, no frills. What is this no frills? No frill bank accounts, matlab basic bank accounts. No frill bank accounts is a basic bank account. There are some bank accounts, no, you will get some add-on facilities, maybe a second debit card, maybe a credit card along with it, maybe an insurance cover to an amount of so many rupees. So if a bank account is no frills bank account, it means it is a basic bank account. Okay? Basic bank account. Understand? Give me the answer. Consider the following statements related to financial inclusion. Batao. What is the answer? I'll ask, they will only tell. Okay. చెప్పు ఆన్సర్ చెప్పు. కనిపిస్తుందా బోర్డు? నేను కనిపిస్తున్నానా? గుడ్. कौन बताएगा हाथ ऊपर? आंसर कौन बोला? ऑल. खुशवंत. ऑल. अच्छा, हाउ मेनी अग्री? हाउ मेनी अग्री? रश्मि. उजिता. ऑल. ओके. राहुल. ऑल. खुशवंत. I don't want to take risk. I have to stay with you only. ఎన్ని కరెక్ట్ ఉన్నాయి చెప్పు? 6. She says 6 కరెక్ట్. చెప్పు. రెడీ? 6 అమ్మాయి చెప్పిందని. అచ్చా, ఏది తప్పు ఉంది చెప్పు. 6 అంటున్నావుగా, 7 పాయింట్స్ ఉన్నాయిగా, తప్పు పాయింట్ ఏది చెప్పు? రే గుండు బౌలుతుంది నీకు. it is एक वर्ड बदल देगा तुम्हारी जिंदगी बदल जाएगी, ठीक है. सो रीड द वर्ड प्रॉपरली. श्रीनिवास, गुड गेस, बच गया रे तू. गुड. चलो नेक्स्ट इज अ स्कीम कॉल्ड मिस्टी स्कीम. What is this Misty related to? Related to mangroves. What is a mangrove, Pawan? Pawan, what is a mangrove? Re? Geography. What is a mangrove? Where is man laid in a grove? Or where the mangoes grow? Huh? How many states have mangroves? सर इतना ज़्यादा मत पूछो यार, एक आध सवाल पूछो. हाँ, what is the state of India's mangroves when compared to the world? Compared to the world, रे दक्कन, वेस्ट बंगाल क्या बोल रहे हैं? वेस्ट बंगाल, you are right. What is the biggest mangroves that we have? Sundarbans. But mangroves are there in other states also. Mangroves, I think 9 states and 2 union territories also you have mangroves. What is the role of a mangrove? Okay, natural disasters. What else? Carbon sink. Okay, what else? What is the unique feature of a mangrove? They survive in salt water. That is the biggest. Modkel Rao. Okay, good. See, on the occasion of World Environment Day, which is celebrated on June 5th, the theme is beat plastic pollution. तुम साले पढ़ नहीं रहे हो, मैं बता रहा हूँ. कार्तिक, फैन केलाडेस्ता उल्टा क्लास लनी तिरिगेसिंटो. अदे कदा एनवायरनमेंट. बेटा सवाल ऐसे ही आएंगे. प्लीज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. यू रिमेंबर द चेस क्वेश्चन in 2023 prelims, world chess championship. వాడెవడు ఎన్నో కొట్టుకున్నాడు, రష్యా వాడు యుక్రెయిన్ వాడు కొట్టుకున్నాడు. ఇట్ వాజ్ సపోజ్ టు బి హెల్డ్ ఇన్ రష్యా. లాస్ట్ మూమెంట్ దే షిఫ్టెడ్ టు ఇండియా. మనం ఆ కాలం పేజ్ ఎప్పుడు తీసి చదవలేదు. వాడు క్వశ్చన్ పెట్టాడు, పూరా కరెక్ట్ థా. వర్డ్ హీ డిడ్ ఎ ట్విస్ట్. వాట్ ఐ డిడ్ ఇన్ మ్యాక్రో పెన్షన్, he just twisted one word. Believe me, 99% of the students left that question. 99. And it is probably whosoever attempted, unless and until he plays chess, it would have gone wrong. Okay, understand. MISTI stands for Mangrove Initiative for Shoreline Habitats and Tangible Incomes. Please make a note. MISTI scheme is all about Mangroves Initiative for Shoreline Habitats and Tangible Incomes. MISTI program. The scheme, basically initially the mangrove cover will be restored in 9 states across the country. Overall the scheme envisages the development of mangroves covering so many square kilometers in 11 states and 2 union territories. It means the mangrove cover is there in 11 states and 2 union territories. But initially how many states they will work upon? 9 states. Gradually they will extend it to all the 11 states. This scheme will help in mitigating the threat to lives and livelihoods in coastal areas, very important, from the rising sea levels and disasters like cyclones. What is the strategy? It involves the sharing of best practices on plantation techniques, management practices, conservation measures and resource mobilization through public-private partnership. Please make a note, it is based on a public-private partnership model, MISTI scheme, very important. And one more thing, the central government will give 80% of the project cost, it will be borne, and 20% will be contributed by the state. It means it is a centrally sponsored scheme. It is a centrally sponsored scheme. Okay? This we know. Mangroves are basically, it is a shrub or a small tree that lives in a intertidal water in coastal areas and has roots in salty sediments, often underwater. They also grow in swamps, very important. Mangroves are salt tolerant plant communities, very important, found in tropical and subtropical intertidal regions of the world. Please make a note, tropical and subtropical intertidal regions of the world. And very important, such areas are characterized by high rainfall, that is between 1000 to 3000 millimeters, and temperature ranging between 26 to 35. Mangrove forest can survive extreme weather conditions and require low oxygen levels to survive. Please make a note, low oxygen levels to survive. Mangroves can survive in low oxygen levels also, and the mangroves cannot survive freezing temperatures, very important, and thus are found mainly in tropical and subtropical latitudes, because they cannot withstand the freezing cold conditions. That is the biggest challenge with the mangroves. Okay? Mangroves cannot survive freezing temperatures and thus are found mainly in tropical and subtropical latitudes. Okay? This is very important information related to mangroves. Okay? This you would have seen in your what you call NCERT book also. Okay? This picture, similar picture, not exactly this picture, but similar picture would also be there in your NCERT book. Chalo, give me the answer. Mangroves are salt tolerant plant communities found in tropical climates only. The answer is wrong, both tropical and subtropical. So this is a wrong answer. Mangroves are areas with moderate rainfall. Again a wrong statement, because high rainfall from 1000 to 3000 millimeter and temperature ranging from 26 to 35 degrees centigrade. Mangroves are also tolerant to freezing conditions. Again a wrong statement. They are not tolerant to freezing conditions. That is the reason why they are found in tropical and subtropical latitudes only. Misty scheme is applicable in all the 11 states and 2 union territories with mangroves. No, it is a wrong statement. Presently it is applicable only in 9 states. It is also a wrong statement. Misty is a central sector scheme. It is also a wrong statement. So what is the correct answer? The none of the above is the correct answer. All the statements given in the question above are incorrect or wrong, whatever you call it. Chalo. 100 days, 100 pays campaign, again by RBI. 100 days, 100 pays. Please make a note. A campaign being run by Reserve Bank of India, very important. Okay, 100 days and 100 pays campaign. What is this campaign about? What is this campaign about? Anybody read about this article before? This campaign is about unclaimed deposits. See, many times it so happens that people either die or for some reason shift from one place to another, leaving their bank accounts just like that. So once your bank account becomes dormant, when is an account deemed to be dormant? When there are no transactions in the account for dormant. When is account declared to be dormant? अरे भैया इतना पढ़ने के बाद ये आंसर का जवाब नहीं दोगे तो कैसा होगा? When do you declare an account to be dormant? When no transactions whatsoever have happened in that account for dormant, D-O-R-M-A-N-T, dormant. Trying to help the people who are trying to search. अच्छा Google करो. Now another question, when you are doing Google, is it unilaterally applicable to all the banks, whether private or public? I hope everybody has a bank account. Unda leda? Hello. All are unserved poor families. Huh? What is the amount? What is the period?
24 months.
It is 2 years, not 3 months, 2 years, and it is applicable all the cross sections of the banking fraternity. For 2 years, if you do not do any transaction from your bank account, that account is deemed to be dormant. But this article is not about the accounts that are dormant. This article is about basically the deposits which have been unclaimed for the past, it means 2 years plus 8 years. 2 years plus 8 years, it means, for example, I had 10,000 rupees in my account, right? Now, after opening an account, suddenly I decided to shift from India and I shifted to Canada and decided to stay there, and I never returned to Hyderabad or India, and I do not know anybody who lives close by to my bank account. So what will happen? Over a period of time, the amount of money that is left in my bank account, firstly the account will become dormant, gradually the account will become what you call an unclaimed deposit. Now, bank does not, as I told you, what is the function of bank? Bank is a financial intermediary. What it does, it tries to take money from the people who have got excess of money and give to the people who have got scarcity of money at a rate of interest. It takes interest, it gives interest. It takes more, it gives less in the form of interest. That is how it is performing a function of financial intermediary. Now, if there are unclaimed deposits in the bank, what will happen? These amounts are transferred by the banks to an account called Depositor Education and Awareness Fund that is maintained by RBI. Say for example, as I told you, my account in SBI Ashoknagar, the moment the 10 years happen, that 10,000 rupees from my account will be transferred from my account to Depositor Education and Awareness Fund. So the money from this fund is used for financial literacy campaigns. You have a lot of financial literacy campaigns. Amitabh Bachchan comes no, and he gives you ad. All your cricket, RBI कहता है is the name of the campaign. Maybe the funds are getting diverted for various campaigns. Not only this fund, there are lot of other funds that are used for financial literacy. Okay? Now, in May 23, the RBI announced a 100 days 100 pays campaign for banks to trace and settle the top 100 unclaimed deposits of every bank in every district of the country within 100 days. It means, for example, there are 100 banks in Hyderabad district. So all 100 banks, top 100 unsettled or unclaimed deposits will be tried to trace. Where is the owner? Where is the person to whom the money belongs? They will try to dig in some information. For example, you get some address, okay, flat number 2, so and so building, so and so. They will try to send a post, a registered post. Maybe a person will go and try to find out whether somebody akin to the name of the depositor holder is staying there or not. What is the idea? That is my question. What is the idea? What is the idea? What is the bigger aim of this campaign? लिक्विडिटी कैसे मेंटेन होगा? रुको इसकी जान लेते थोड़ी देर. हाँ, कैसे लिक्विडिटी मेंटेन होगा? अभी बैंक के पास ये पैसा है, अभी 10 साल हो गया, 11 साल हो गया. This money has gone to RBI. It means the liability of the bank has been done away with. Yes or no? The liability of the bank has been done away with. Now that much amount of money बैंक से हट गया, अब it has come to RBI. हाँ, अब बताओ, बहुत सारी कड़ियाँ जोड़ रहे तुम. See, understand, this money got transferred to Depositor Education and Awareness Fund, right? Now, nobody asked me the question, मान लो unclaimed deposit, they found one person, जिंदा है साला, अकाउंट में 1 करोड़ रुपया है. What next? You said in May 2023 and before that you said balance in saving current accounts, very important. ये भी है, हेलो, सेविंग्स एंड करंट अकाउंट्स which are not operated for 10 years or term deposits not claimed within 10 years from date of maturity are classified as unclaimed deposits. Now you said after 10 years they will go back to this. Say 11th year the owner turns up, hello, I am present, my 1 crore please do. He will go to the bank, no? Say for example SBI. Now the moment he goes to the SBI, SBI will tell RBI, sir, కోటి రూపాయలు తీసుకున్నారు కదా, ప్లీజ్ ఇచ్చేయండి, because the owner has been, it has to give them. ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं है कि पैसा नहीं मिलेगा, पैसा, but definitely the ownership has to be proved. Once the ownership is proved, you will get back the money. Okay, the reason why it is shifted from here to here is to ensure that the, say commercial banks, no, if they come to know एक account में इतना करोड़ रुपया रखा है and it is unclaimed deposit for so many years, there is a high probability of wrongdoings. Nobody is as such claiming 10 साल से कोई नहीं है, आप कौन आएगा, क्या जाता है, एक महीने के लिए निकाल के 1 crore rupees, I will rotate on interest, I will get at least 2-3 lakh rupees, again I will deposit 1 crore rupees. As such he never came to claim. And even if he comes to claim, how does he know how many transactions I have done in the past 10 years? I was समझ में. So that is how to remove that possibility, the amounts are immediately transferred to deposit insurance, deposit education and depositors education and awareness fund. Understand, this is a larger picture. ठीक है. First statement is wrong. Second statement is again wrong. The where it is only gaya. That is also what is the answer? Now tell me what is the answer? What is the answer? Current account. What is the answer? What is the answer? अरे लिख सकते हो, पूछेगा तो आज याद रहेगा, कल नहीं. ठीक है, चलो नेक्स्ट. What is this next? Professors of practice. What is this idea here? Professors of practice. Basically they are wanting the people who are in the industry to come and teach the college students. Understand? Practicing what? Or running an organization, anything. They want those people who have got practical on the job knowledge to come to the educational institutions and impart that knowledge to them. It is called professors of practice. In very important, who did this? The University Grants Commission. Please underline, Google about this institution. University Grants Commission, the UGC. Online portal to facilitate the recruitment of industry experts as professors of practice for India's education institutions. Okay, what it says? The schemes for POP was introduced as part of the bigger picture of national education policy that came into vogue in 2020. National education policy. The recent launch of the portal is a significant step in the implementation of the same. It aims to bring expertise from the industry and other fields such as arts, crafts and other professional arenas into higher education. Basically the idea is to call people who are engaged here and give people in the higher education institutes there to share their practical experiences. Okay? That is the idea of this particular thing. Important from prelims from two perspectives. One is UGC, second it is part of national education policy that was launched in the year 2020. Okay? Simple. It aims to improve the quality of higher education. Obviously yes, it is a scheme developed launched by the University Grants Commission. The scheme is part of, yes, under the scheme the industry experts will come to teach in colleges 1, 2 and 3. The answer is 3 pairs are correct. ठीक है, चलो नेक्स्ट. ककोका डैम किधर है ये? यूक्रेन. Huh? What is the meaning of dam has breached? Breach in the dam means there is some major part or the wall that holds the water has collapsed, causing floods. Till such time Russia-Ukraine war is on, some or the other question will keep coming. Some or the other question will keep coming. ठीक है? हाँ. What is the river where the dam is constructed? The name of the river is Dnieper river. In which part of the Ukraine? Southern Ukraine. The dam was under control of the Russian military, which had seized it in the early days of the Russian invasion war of Ukraine. I think in the month of March 2022 somewhere this had happened, when the Russians took the control of this particular Kakhovka dam, which is built on the river Dnieper, which is in the southern Ukraine, right? It holds a volume about equal to the Great Salt Lake in US, which is in the state of Utah, UTAH, very important again. The dam was an important part of the Kakhovka hydroelectric power plant, supplying water to the Crimean Peninsula, and very important nuclear power plant, Zaporizhzhia. Please make a note, there is a nuclear power plant. It was in news, paper में भी था. This power plant was in the paper. अरे UPSC में 2023 prelims में this power plant name was there, one of the options given. Okay, in Ukraine, very important. Crimean Peninsula, it is a peninsula in Eastern Europe on the northern coast of the Black Sea, almost entirely surrounded by the Black Sea and the smaller Sea of Azov. It came under the Russian rule in 2014. This is the trigger point of conflict between Russia and US in 2014, when Russia annexed Crimea. This is when Russia had annexed Crimea. ठीक है? This is the river in blue. This is the dam which is depicted here. This is the river. This is the reservoir, Kakhovka reservoir. This is the dam. ठीक है? So this is where the entire flooding had happened because of the breach. ठीक है? Very important. Which state? Madhya Pradesh. Just CM Learn and Earn scheme. Just note down this one point, that it is basically a learning while earning scheme launched by Madhya Pradesh. This you understand this. Mukhyamantri Sikho Kamao Yojana by Madhya Pradesh. Just note down this. Other facts and figures are not important, but understand this is a scheme launched by Madhya Pradesh. Sikho Kamao Yojana. Sikho is learn, Kamao is earn Yojana, which is done by Madhya Pradesh. ठीक है? Yeah, very important from your prelims perspective also. The G20 Delhi Declaration on Cyber Security. G20 again very important because India has got the presidency. G20 again question came, one or two questions came in prelims. ठीक है? So understand, very important because India got the presidency of G20, right? Who is the National Cyber Security Coordinator? Your National Security Advisor. ठीक है? He is also the National Cyber Security Coordinator also. So the NSA or the National Cyber Security Coordinator of India proposed the draft Delhi Declaration on cyber security for G20 countries. So it is a draft proposed by India on the platform of G20. Still proposed, not accepted. Proposed draft, right? It consists of a series of commitments towards responsible state behavior in cyberspace. Understand this, responsible state behavior. What is he trying to target? Cyber warfare. Good. Cyber warfare. He is trying to target the use of cyberspace as an instrument of state policy, right? Use of cyberspace as an instrument of state policy with an intention to inflict damage on enemy countries, critical infrastructure and critical information infrastructure. If you do that, then you have committed the crime of cyber warfare. Over a period of time, the countries are reporting using of cyber warfare as a technique by Russia, China and America as an instrument of state policy. So that is reason why on the platform of G20, India had proposed a cyber security policy called Delhi Declaration on Cyber Security. G20 would commit to, these are the points, not very important, but try to understand that these are the points India is trying to win. But now there is a problem. India itself is not signatory to any of the conventions or international agreements related to cyber security. Whether it is, which are the international conventions or agreements related to cyber security? हाँ, एक तो बताओ यार कम से कम. One was there in the paper also, 23, Osaka track diplomacy. Osaka track based on cyber security. मैं क्लास में पढ़ाया राहुल. International conventions related to cyber security. The biggest challenge is India is not signatory to anything. The Osaka track diplomacy was in news and in paper also. बाद में बोलते हो सर आपने पढ़ाया नहीं. कब पढ़ाया? कुछ भी याद नहीं रहता तुमको. हाँ, very important. Commissioner of Railway Safety, very important. Only one point to be kept in mind. It is under the Ministry of Civil Aviation. The biggest point to be kept in note, though it is related to railway safety, but it is under the purview of Ministry of Civil Aviation. Primarily, in the happening of any event, there can be a proper investigation without any cover up because it is related to railways. For example, if the investigation of the railways, if it is part of railways, obviously it will try to put under some things under the carpet in the investigation to ensure neutrality in investigation process and the finding of the report. It ensures that this is not under the Ministry of Railways but under this Ministry of Civil Aviation. This is the only point important from examination perspective where they will try to confuse you. Okay? It deals with the matters related to safety of rail travel and operations among some other statutory functions, inspectorial, investigatory and advisory as laid down in the Railways Act 1989. So, please remember this Railways Act 1989, under the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Those two are only important points. Take care. Administrative control of Ministry of Civil Aviation, headquartered at Delhi. Why it is, I have already explained you, because to ensure that whatever happens, whatever findings have to be done, they are done neutrally without any support. Now give me the answer. First option क्या है? हाँ हाँ, true or false? हाँ, ठीक है, don't get confused. हाँ, it has investigatory powers. Yes, it has investigatory powers. Ministry of Civil Aviation is the nodal agency. Yes, it is headquartered at Delhi. The answer is, huh? Come again. Now the answer is 1. ठीक है. The moment we see this, తెలియకపోతే గుడ్డిగా remember any financial institution if it is given outside Mumbai, unless and until you exactly know it, it is only in Mumbai. Again, any financial institution's headquarter, if you definitely know that it is outside Mumbai, then only it is outside Mumbai. Other than that, it is in Mumbai. That is the reason why Mumbai is called the financial capital of our India, where the capital of like RBI's headquarters and almost all the banks headquarters are there in Mumbai only. Okay? So, whenever any financial institution related headquarters, unless and until you confirmedly know that it is outside Mumbai, the answer is wrong. Okay? Understand.